Adams Archive.
Donald Trump sent out a statement on Truth, and it said a president of the United States must have full immunity, without which it would be impossible for him or her to properly function. Now, I found this to be an interesting statement. The reason that I think this is an interesting statement is I kind of wanted to talk this through with you guys and see if I agree. And I don't think that I do. I don't think a president should have full immunity. I think that what is the, like, I believe that there's certain things that a president has to do. I think that the presidential role is inherently a criminal job. You have to murder people. You have to, engage with shady foreign entities. You have to run the CIA and the FBI, which just in and of itself is going to come with illegal, illicit activities, as they've shown a track record for however long, since the, 47, when the FBI was, or the CIA was created. But to me, it's like, how could, I absolutely disagree with this. I don't think a president should have immunity. I think that, yes, the job would be hard if you didn't have immunity, but that's the job. You have to do it within the guidelines of legality. Because if a president can get into office and immediately become unhinged and have absolute full immunity for every action that they've ever taken, then what are we doing here? Like, you just get to murder people, you get with no repercussions, you have no barriers and guidelines to the way that you have to dictate your actions. You don't have to follow the Geneva Convention. Like, what would make you think that the president should have full immunity? So I'll continue his statement, give you the full context, but it says, without much, it would be impossible for him or her to properly function. Any mistake, even if well-intended, would be met with almost certain indictment by the opposing party at term's end. I think in today's political landscape, that is true. That's what we're seeing here, is that Donald Trump has absolutely been a political witch hunt. How many indictments does he have now? Like 30 something. How many states has he been indicted under? How much of it is stuck? And really, it's more about, to me, the precedents that this is going to set moving forward, because then whoever gets out of office next time, same thing. Right. And so I understand the point. I understand the premise, but I just don't see how in action that's an effective way to run a country. Is there any country that operates that way? Maybe Russia. Maybe Putin has like absolute immunity, in North Korea and China. But like, is that really what we're shooting for? Is North Korea, China, and, Russia's type of, totalitarian regimes? I don't think so. Even if well-intended, would be met with almost certain indictment by the opposing party. Even events that cross the line, quote unquote, must fall under total immunity, or it would be years of trauma trying to determine good from bad. There must be certainty. Example, you can't stop police from doing the job of strong and effective crime, Trump said, prevention, because you want to guard against the occasional rogue cop or bad apple. You can't stop police from doing the job of strong and effective crime prevention. Sometimes you just have to live with the great but slightly imperfect. All presidents must have complete and total presidential immunity, or the authority and decisiveness of a president of the United States will be stripped and gone forever. Hopefully this will be an easy decision. God bless the Supreme Court. Yeah. And this says, if anything, presidents and politicians should be held to a higher legal standard, not a lower legal standard. And I think that his example of police just kind of defeats his entire argument there. I just don't see how that holds true, because if you give police absolute immunity, then they're just going to, I think that cops, people who sign up to be police, are inherently good people. I do. I wholeheartedly believe that. I believe they generally have good intentions. But I also believe if you take a big enough sample size of people, that there's going to be, as he quotes in here, bad apples. And that doesn't allow you to just randomly walk down the street and, not follow the force escalation protocols that are called for being in the police force. You still have guidelines, and those guidelines that police have are far more stringent. And they get indicted, or they get prosecuted probably at a far higher rate than any political person ever. As a result, they literally have body cameras in the middle of their body that follows every move, right? Like, so to me, that it just the argument falls apart, and I think it's a little self-serving. Again, I don't think Trump is going to be found guilty of anything, and I don't believe that he should be. But I also just don't think that the precedent of setting the example that the president just can absolutely do no wrong is a good one. I just think it's a false premise, and that it will cause something horrific to happen, just like if you gave police absolute immunity. The people who hold the positions of power, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Spider-Man. It's like you have to inherently have a microscope on you, and the law has to be in place, because without it, you could just turn it into a complete totalitarian regime. You could do whatever you wanted when you could, and especially when you're determining, you know, you're the head of the entire largest, strongest military in all of history.
Adams Archive.